What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we have so much to talk about. Battlefield dropped the entire Battlefield 6 2026 roadmap on our heads out of nowhere, and we have so many surprising things to talk about. Not only did they detail Season 3, they detailed Season 4 and even teased 3 maps in Season 5. They revealed the return of naval warfare, server browsers with persistent servers and custom lobbies, leaderboards, spectator mode. We have so much to talk about in this video, so if you enjoy the channel, if you find this channel informative, hit the sub button, hit the like button, and be sure to let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comment section. I've seen a very positive community reaction to this, and it's deserved. I think DICE actually gave us more than we were expecting. The current feeling of Battlefield 6 right now, at least before the roadmap dropped, was just sort of meh, you know, run down. The steam was sort of lost, but I think this roadmap might instill some confidence in the future of the game. Let's get started, though. I will leave timestamps in the description for you guys. First, I'm going to go over everything new, and then we're just going to talk about some other talking points and maybe walk back on a couple things, inject some reality. We'll get to that when we get to it. First of all, Season 3. We know Galmud Railway returns, but we get some new screenshots and some new looks at this map. And visually, it does look very stunning, and Galmud Railway will be the largest game in Battlefield 6 up until the Season 4 maps, which we'll be getting into. But the big brand new news is they confirmed Grand Bazaar will be returning in Battlefield 6. It is called Cairo Bazaar. It is the reimagination of the Battlefield 3 classic map. I'm so happy to see this because longtime viewers of the channel will know I have consistently been asking for Grand Bazaar to be a map in Battlefield 6 because I feel it really fits the game's aesthetic. And, well, they're bringing it back. So, very happy to see that. It was one of my favorite maps in Battlefield 3. The other things they confirmed for Season 3 have to do with Ranked Mode and Battle Royale. So, they're going to be bringing Battle Royale solos and Ranked Mode. And they confirmed they are not canceling the $1 million tournament. They will be going ahead with it. The Elite/Open Series tournaments will return. As far as the ranked mode, it just seems like it's going to be for Battle Royale first, but they did mention ranked modes will also come to the normal Battlefield multiplayer, which, correct me if I'm wrong, hasn't happened since Incursions in Battlefield 1. They didn't give many details on this whatsoever, but I can only imagine that they'd use the 4v4 mode called Strike Point that is also in the multiplayer, but again, we have no details on that. We'll just have to see what happens when we get it. Moving on now to Season 4, which is coming out in July, sometime in July. Naval warfare is a huge focus of this season. In the trailer, we saw screenshots of attack boats returning, aircraft carriers you can lift off from the deck once again, and a brand new dynamic wave system that really looked very interesting. It seems like navigating throughout the watery areas of the map is just going to be more difficult in some areas, depending on the weather and how rough the waves are. They did confirm 2 brand new maps coming in Season 4. The first one is Suru Reef. I can't really say that very well, but apparently Suru Reef is even larger than Galmud Railway. And the second map they confirmed is Wake Island. This map has been a fan favorite for Battlefield fans over the years. Personally, I've never been a massive fan of this map just because I just feel like the reintroductions of it have never been that great. But we did manage to get some overhead views and some shots, concept arts of Wake Island, and it certainly feels like it's going to fulfill what people want from a Wake Island map. Taking a look at the overview here, I'm not sure about the scale of this, but this looks like it's going to be a properly large recreation of Wake Island. After that, they mentioned that Season 5 will come out in fall. They don't specify a month. But the big news here is that apparently we will be receiving 3 maps in Season 5, and they said it's part of some sort of holiday surprise. And they provided a clue as to where one of these maps will be located. They've provided this concept art. It looks to be a bullet casing in some sort of oil slick or maybe water on what looks to be asphalt or a street, and then these sort of neon, different color lights reflecting off of this puddle. The image I just showed you is the zoomed in version of it. They also provided a different look at it, which shows a little bit more, and you can see there is a repair tool on the ground with a sledgehammer in the background, and also this worn curb in the upper right hand of this image with this sort of worn yellow paint on the curb side itself. The speculation as of right now as to what this map could be is up in the air, but I personally think this could be Dawnbreaker. I also think this could be Sunken Dragon from Battlefield 4, but some people on Reddit think that this map could actually be located in Las Vegas based off of the light reflections on the puddle compared to the very famous Welcome to Las Vegas, Nevada sign. Overall, really cool stuff they detailed in terms of content coming in the upcoming seasons. Now, they also mentioned a priority features section, and this is where they tackle some big ticket items. And guys, have to be honest, they're talking some big talk. They better be able to walk the walk. The very first thing DICE mentions in this section is the fact that the server browser will be returning with persistent servers, and we will have access to custom lobbies. If you have been paying attention to Battlefield 6 even a little bit, you would know that the server browser has been one of the main concerns for not only the entirety of Battlefield 6, but the entirety of Battlefield 2042 for 4 years before that. So DICE mentioning the fact that Battlefield 6 is going to be getting a server browser with persistent servers is not just something that Battlefield 6 caused. This is 5 years in the making. People have been upset about the lack of a server browser ever since the release of Battlefield 2042. Unfortunately, they didn't really give us much details as to how they're going to execute the addition of a server browser. How is it going to be combined with the Portal server browser? Are they going to be separate? Are they going to be completely combined into a single server browser? Maybe they'll just try to squish everything together and make it so you can filter out Portal servers that you might not want to see, so you can see the official servers that you actually want to play on. And then, of course, the icing on top is the fact that they also mentioned persistent servers with custom lobbies. Persistent servers is going to just be such a luxury that we should have had ever since, well, the start of 2042 leading in to Battlefield 6. The fact that when a game ended, the players weren't kept together and you had to basically just go back to the main menu and matchmake once again, and then you get put in an empty server. It was so frustrating. So persistent servers will just eliminate this as a problem, and it's what they should have done the entire time. The next thing they mention is multiplayer leaderboards, and probably RedSec leaderboards as well are going to be coming to Battlefield 6. This is cool. It's just another very cool community aspect thing. You can take a look at the leaderboards. You can see who's slaying out on the battlefield. And in general, people just like looking at stats. So leaderboards being added to the game, that's really cool. Now, guys, a big one, okay? And hey, when we lost this particular feature, we didn't know how good we had it. But guys, the spectator system is going to be returning. I can't even tell you how excited I am for the spectator system to return, because you know what that means, guys? Agent Enders gets to come out of retirement. I wasn't able to make these videos in 2042 or in Battlefield 6 because there was no spectator mode. But guess what? Now it's wide open. So really happy to see that, in my opinion, essential feature get re-added to the game. The next essential feature that they're re-adding to the game is they mentioned Platoons are returning. Again, one of these things where I don't know what took them so long, but I'm happy to see it coming back. The combination of Platoons returning, with server browsers returning, and persistent servers is just going to enhance the community building aspect of Battlefield that has been so sorely lacking. And the final thing they mention here in the priority feature section is the fact that proximity chat will be getting added to Battlefield. This is just one of those things that is in pretty much every game nowadays. And Battlefield is a game where proximity chat makes a lot of sense. Total FPS on Twitter did clarify that proximity chat will be added to RedSec first and then moved over to the multiplayer version of the game. But the fact that proximity chat is getting added at all is a great sign. This is a tool that a lot of people felt that Battlefield was missing out on for the longest time, and it is now finally being added to the game. And the final important things they mention here are the fact that 2 maps are actually going to be getting some facelifts and a little bit of a rework, similar to the way that they reworked maps in Battlefield 2042. New Sobek City and Blackwell Fields will be getting partial reworks with the help of Battlefield Labs feedback. Big fan of this. New Sobek City and Blackwell Fields are 2 maps that are particularly rough to play on. I certainly hope they address the rooftop situation on Sobek City, and when it comes to Blackwell Fields, yeah, good luck. I have no idea what they're going to be able to do with that map. I'll be very impressed if they manage to pull that map back to a playable state. So, a ton of amazing stuff mentioned in this roadmap. However, I want to pump the brakes just a little bit here because we can't get too excited about this just yet. We have to remain rational. And rationality tells us that a lot of the stuff they're adding to the game really isn't going to be as enjoyable if they don't improve the gameplay. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot forget, improving the gameplay of the game remains a top priority. Addressing some things with the gunplay, improving netcode, improving visibility, improving audio, making sweeping improvements to vehicle gameplay so that Galmud Railway and these naval warfare maps are actually super fun, just like they were in games like Battlefield 4. And the other thing I really want to emphasize is the fact that while I am extremely happy and thankful and excited to see core features like the server browser and spectator mode return, these are all features that previous Battlefield titles had at the launch of that game, okay? We didn't have to wait for these things to be added. The post-launch support should basically be focused on gameplay improvements, adding new content, new weapons, tweaking everything with the game. Ideally, you don't want a lot of your post-launch support to have anything to deal with re-adding old core features that should have been there in the first place. And this is where a very important reply on Twitter comes into play. Battlefield Bulletin, who is known for posting the most reliable Battlefield news on Twitter, had this excellent reply and a very important reply to Total FPS, who is the Battlefield community manager on Twitter. Battlefield Bulletin goes on to say, the community features, as you called them, are core features that have been available on other titles at launch. Spectator mode, naval warfare, multiplayer leaderboards, server browser, ... Don't get me wrong, I'm glad to see them back in Battlefield 6, but the post-launch live service should be focused on gameplay, content, maps, weapons, and vehicles. It's rare for me to see essential features from previous Battlefield titles in a live service model. Things that should have been added from the beginning. This confirms Battlefield 6 wasn't ready to be launched in October 2025. On the other hand, I'm glad to see Season 5 will feature 3 new maps, but if Battlefield Studios is not able to maintain this tendency in Season 6 and/or in future live service models, I don't see myself playing the game on a frequent basis. So that reply from Battlefield Bulletin, in my opinion, hit the nail on the head entirely. I find the comment about him basically saying Battlefield 6 wasn't ready to be launched in October 2025 very, very interesting, and I agree with it 100%. The sad reality of the situation is if we wanted Battlefield 6 to release with all of the core features everyone expects, the game probably would have released in October 2026, or maybe even later. And that would have meant 5 years between the release of 2042 and the release of Battlefield 6. So overall, some absolutely incredible news mentioned in this roadmap. It instills some confidence in the future. It gives us something to look forward to. And for me, and I'm sure for many other people, that is one of the biggest things DICE could have done right now. Be sure to let me know your thoughts about all this stuff in the comments section. If you enjoy the content, hit the like button, hit the sub button, and check out the second channel. Everything, it will be linked in the description, and the second channel will be linked in the pinned comment. Really exciting future ahead for this game. I just hope they manage to release the content on time and make massive gameplay improvements. If they can manage to do that, then we really have a serious game on our hands.